Well, welcome back to my newfound YouTube channel, which I finally decided I may as well start since I'm just recording myself making these random modifications on my guitars to try and make them play and sound better. Um, what we are doing tonight is we are going to change out a tone capacitor. Okay, so quick background. Every guitar has what's called a tone capacitor or a tone cap for short. Okay. I would say about 90% of the guitars that come manufactured have a tone capacitor that has, let's see, it's like a 0.2, like I really don't know the specifics or the technical details of it, but basically, if you've ever played a guitar and you've like hit the tone knob and you hear an adjustment in tone from 10 down to 8, and then after you move down past 8, it's like the tone knob doesn't even do anything anymore, right? You're just like, what? Okay, I can get a little bit of tone variation off this thing, but once I move past the 8, then that's pretty much it. Well, the reason for that being is that it's the tone capacitor. For some reason, the industry standard of tone capacitors is this 0.2 micro, however they do it, however they measure it, rather, right? That's the industry standard in which they put in most guitars. And when you open up a guitar and you look at it and you see this little like green square, or maybe it's like a little orange button, or like a yellow tube or something like that, that's the tone capacitor. And the thing is that the less resistance that a tone capacitor has, the less variation in tone you're going to be able to get when you actually control the knobs on your tone control, right? And for some reason, the industry standard just decided that they're going to go with this 0.2 something, 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 something. And it turns out to be a piece of shit. And it makes it so that you can only use your knob for about from 10 to 8. And then after that, it's pretty much fucking useless. Okay. I'm pretty sure every single one of you have dealt with this. Wow, there's a lot of glare in there. Let me set this down for a quick second and lower down the light. Okay, yeah, I think that's much better. Okay, yeah, much better. So here you can see I have got my one and original. Let's see if it'll let me flip. This guy doesn't want me to flip. Once more, I have ghosts in my camera that refuses to allow me to turn my camera around so I can see it. So I'm going to have to try and show you from the side, from the front. Let's see. Oh God, these camera angles are the fucking worst. Right, so here we go. We'll start from the head. There we go. There's my nice little logo there. You can see it. So this is Sweet Demon, as you can read. Then you've got AGL there. Stands for Austin Guitars Limited. It's just something I decided to come up with. My name's Austin, as if you didn't know. And I figure as I'm taking on these projects, I figured, yeah, Austin Guitars Limited. That sounds like a pretty cool name for a project thing to take on and to have as a logo here. And then you'll see that I've got these Wilkinson easy lock tuners. And once again, we've got these rolling string trees, which, if you've been paying attention to any of my videos so far, tension is the cause of tuning instability. And to reduce that, we want roller string trees versus static, metallic, nasty little pieces of metal that really just gonna make it sound like shit, and really make you go out of tune, especially when you're like gonna try and like want to get some whammy action and stuff that kind of way, right? So here we go, back up the neck. I had to do some major work on this neck. You've no idea. And you can see that there's all these imperfections. So I picked this guy up. Just sorry to go off on a side note here, but I picked this guy up on at a bazaar, right? I was just at a Christmas bazaar, and I saw this guitar. And the guy was selling two of them. One was like this cherry red SG that looked fucking delicious. And so I was like, ooh, caught my eye. I want to go. And I went and I played it. And really wasn't really mad on the sound of it at all. So as I was playing it, I was just a little bit disappointed. He wanted to like 200, 250 or something like that for it. I was like, no way, I'm not going to pay 250 or whatever. And I'd seen this guitar right here, Sweet Demon, which was absolute in bits. Like, I mean, this thing, it had a sticker mark from where it had faded, and he had removed the sticker and the paint had faded around it. And you could see this thing. The paint was all chipped, and it was this nasty ass cream color with this like scuffed up guard. And you could tell that the neck was just, you can see for yourself on the neck, you've got all these little like imperfections on it. And so I was just kind of like, like, why on earth are you even gonna even bring that to try and sell? Because it looked like absolute shit. But after I was done playing the SG, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, there's this piece of shit here in the corner. Let me just give that a go just to see what the fuck that's about, right? Well, let me tell you, the moment it hit my hands, it was like butter. Like, I knew I had to have that guitar. And that comes down to the solid maple neck that is a 20-inch radius. And for those of you who don't know, 20-inch radius means that the neck, the curvature of the neck, the original Fender in the 1950s had a 7.5-inch curvature, or fact checkers correct me when I'm wrong. They had 7 some point something curvature, which meant like the neck went like this and the strings had to go around the curve of the neck like this. And so that made it very difficult for players back in the 50s to really hit those fucking, like, really nail it and slam it and get the solos that we heard from the late 70s through to the 80s thrash metal, where it was all about the solos, right? Now, the 20-inch radius of the neck pretty much means that your neck radius is like this. It's pretty much fucking flat. There's no curvature to the neck at all. So when you play a 20-inch radius neck, it is like the easiest neck you could ever possibly play. And it's pretty much built purely for shredding. Like, you go to Ibanez or you go to any of your other major like metal manufacturer, like guitar, like brand themselves for metal and that kind of stuff. Like, they're going to be touting 20-inch neck radiuses, because they know the players who know their shit are going to want 20 inches, because that means they ain't going to have to fucking fight any action. They're going to get low action on every fucking string, because the neck is just like this. And so obviously when I picked up and played it, it was amazing. Like, it was just like, just this piece of shit looked like, I mean, like, literally, like, it belonged in the corner of someone's fucking garage, like your crazy uncle who just happened to have a guitar back in the 70s, like, who just for some reason stuck it around, and never got rid of it, never played it, never did anything with it, and just stayed there for 30 years. And then all of a sudden, here it is at a bazaar. And I played it, and I loved the sound, and I loved the way that it played, mostly because of how it played. I did like the sound. The sound was nice because, I mean, it's a fucking Strat. Who doesn't like the tone of nailing a solo on a neck pickup on a Strat? Like, I mean, come on, that's just, every guitarist knows what that's like. But he was asking like 100 or something like that for it, and I was just like, oh, for this, so like it's so beat up and dingy and whatever and blah, like 100 seems like a bit much. And so I walked away initially, but then as I got down the hallway, further down the bazaar, and the fact that I had picked up the guitar and started playing it kind of inspired the guy to pick it up and start playing it. And then as I walked down the bazaar and I could hear the sound of him playing it further down the bazaar, I was like, I need this guitar in my life. So I literally did an about face, went to the ATM, pulled out whatever cash, it like €100 in cash. I was just like, here's my money, take it. I want this guitar. Right? And so you can see was not nearly as shiny. Yeah, the neck wasn't nearly as shiny or as polished. And what I really like about it is that you can see how it's such a well-worn neck that you know that whoever owned this before me, they played this to fucking bits. I mean, who knows where in the world this guitar has been? I've not a fucking clue. All I know is that this guitar has been played to fucking bits, and it's because it's got a fucking fantastic neck. And that's it. And so then basically what I did is I sanded it all down, because the color was just fucking awful, and that fucking sticker yoke thing, like, even though he removed the sticker, you could still see like the outline of it, like in the fucking paint. I was like, oh, dude, this shit's got to go. So I sanded all of it down. And then what I did is I bought some nitrocellulose, some original, most guitars come acrylic now, but nitrocellulose is like true to like the 50s eras and like the 60s and 70s. Like, it's a little bit more hazardous for you to breathe, which I think why they don't use it so much more. They use more acrylic, but there's something about the nitro that just gives it this sparkle, this shine, like, and even the discoloration over time that you can't get off of an acrylic guitar, you know? So when you see a guitar that's just like one straight solid color, guaranteed that's acrylic, and it's going to stay that color till the end of time. Like the fading and all that stuff, like you're not going to get those little nuanced stuff over time if it's not a nitrocellulose base for the paint. So I bought black in silver, and I attempted to do my own silver burst on it, right? So we'll give you a look and see here. Can we look? Yep, there it is. So you can see how I kind of got the edges black, and then over the top I got silver, and then I put that black silver jack plate on it. I put a black tremolo plate on it, and I used these stainless steel saddles because if you're listening to any of my earlier videos, what touches the string and makes the string sound? It is the saddles, and it is the nut. Now you'll notice I don't have a nut. Well, you can't see it, can you? No. Yeah, there's no nut on it yet because I'm waiting for a tusk nut to come and arrive. And once it arrives, I'm going to put this bad baby on, and it's going to be... anyways, so I thought the silver burst, or my attempt at a silver burst, you can still see that there was a lot of imperfections and everything like that. A lot of work, a lot of sanding, a lot of polishing, like hours spent trying to do it. And the thing is it didn't turn out 100% perfect, but I didn't want it to be 100% perfect because look at that neck. Look how gnarly that neck was, you know? You can tell that it's fucking pre-loved for ages. So, like, ideally, if I were to be a perfectionist, I would have, like, taken wood filler and filled in all the gaps from, like, the buckle rash and from all the dings and dangs and things that it, like, all the abuse that it took over, like, all the gigging, I can assume that, like, you know, it's traveled. You know, if I want to be a perfectionist and done it that way, I could have. But I didn't. All I did was just like, I took it as it was. I just sanded down the color down to just where I could just see the basic wood. And then I basically just put down my layer of black around the edges. And then I basically sprayed the silver on top. Got this nice sparkly silver there to try and cover up the blackness of the edges over here on the side, right? And then I figured with the black plate, the black tremolo, with the stainless steel saddles, and then the black pick guards and the black knobs and everything, I figured that would make for a pretty classy look, and I'm actually quite pleased with it, even though you can still see like little imperfections like right there and that, and even over here where I over sanded a little bit. You know, it's not a perfect looking guitar, but that's not the point. It's the first project guitar that I ever bought. The first guitar where I said, I need this, but it needs some TLC and it needs to be updated. And now I've gone off onto a very long tangent on the story of this guitar. And so sorry about that. And that's completely beside the point of what we're trying to do here today. So going back to what we are trying to do here today is we are going to try and take the tone cap, right? We talked about tone cap. Let me flip this upside down because I've got my phone and the charger comes in through the bottom, so we want this flipped up like that. Yeah, okay. So now, here, I'll scoot my chair up and block that light with my head. Okay. So what we're trying to do here is we need to remove the pick guard first. All right. So I've already undone most of the screws. We're just gonna unscrew the rest of them to get this pick guard out of place. Sorry, this is taking a little bit longer. Maybe before I upload it, I'll try and speed up this process here so you're not just sitting here fucking bored watching me unscrew these little things. Just got 2 more to go. I wish I had one of those camera arms where you could like lift up above and you could actually see what I was doing. But I suppose if I happen to end up getting this brand new channel sponsored in some way and they can start sending me over new stuff and shit and stuff like to make actual proper recordings, and that'd be fucking badass. But that's only wishful thinking on my part as far as I'm concerned. Anyways, so we have finally got our guitar. Sweet demon. There she is. Oops. Camera fell as the pick guard fell out. So now we can see, oh look, you can see, look, we got proper copper shielding. Copper shielding, I actually, oh god, this camera doesn't stay in place. Yes. Can we get this to stay? Can we? Oh god, I'm seriously editing. Actually, put this on. No, it doesn't want to take off. Fuck it. Give me a second here. Here we go. I think we got it. Okay, so here we got the pick guard. Oh, Jesus Christ.